This seems to be the season for the occult. First the stories in Conor McPherson's Irish pub, then the mysteries of the long overdue book. Now we're back to Conor McPherson and a play called Shining City. It's been highly praised in London, New York, and Chicago, winning nominations and awards, called McPherson's best play. I'm definitely in the minority here. I did not like it nearly as much as The Weir, though it could almost lay claim to being a play and not just a bunch of stories. In fact, I didn't like it much at all. One thing that puzzles me is that reviews in New York and Chicago report that the play is about an hour and a half long. The first act in the current production at Upstream Theater is that long, with another 40 minutes or more for the second act. I don't know why that difference and what it might have to do with my contrary opinion. Like some of the Weir stories, Shining City has a ghost story. John is a middle-aged businessman whose wife was recently killed in an accident while she was in a taxi. John had nothing to do with it, but they had drifted farther and farther apart in their marriage, and he can't help but feel that he might be in some way responsible for her death. Now he sees her ghost, bloodied from the accident, in their house. He can't live there. He's moved to a B&B. He seeks help. The therapist he's visiting, Ian, has his own problems. He's a new therapist. He recently left the priesthood. John is his first patient. Ian has a girlfriend with whom he's had a child, but he's left her living in a room at his brother's where no one speaks to her, while he's living in his shabby office. When she shows up at the office, he tells her that he can't see her anymore, but he'll provide for her and the child. When he later very nervously picks up a cash-strapped young man one night for sex, we begin to suspect why he's broken off with a girlfriend. I didn't see Eleanor Rigby in this play, but these are all very lonely people. My problem is that I did not find their loneliness or them very interesting. Their stories sounded familiar and did not take me deep into them as unique individuals. John has the longest stories. As John, Jerry Vogel is telling these stories, and as we know from his previous work at Upstream, Jerry can tell a story. He doesn't reinforce the telling with the music of a brogue as much as those in The Weir or some others in this play, but he does pull the telling from John's heart and soul, shallow as they may be. As the therapist Ian, Christopher Harris spends much of his time listening, mostly to John. When he encounters his girlfriend Nessa and the young man he's hired for the night, he's afflicted with pinter pauses. Harris creates an intense and passionate presence, but those pauses work only so far. Also always an intense presence is Ampiro, who plays Nessa the girlfriend in what is perhaps the most dramatic and absorbing scene. Pete Winfrey is touching and sweet as the young man Ian brings to his place. The production is guided by visiting director Tony Dorfman. Michael Heil's single set is spare with projections that would seem to be symbolically contrasting views from Ian's windows, one of a church tower, one of multiple roofs with their TV antennas. Bonnie Kruger designed the costumes, Steve Carmichael the lighting, and Claudia Horn the props. Farshid Sultan Shahi often provides music for Upstream Productions, and I thought his contribution worked particularly well for Shining City.
It did, but like you, I find myself not really wanting to overhear these conversations.
Yeah, not in this one. No, I didn't either.